Hello everyone. Doc, you talking to them? So today is not going to be a story with Doc, sadly. It'll be from us, big chunk and little chunk. Because I'm now 3 weeks out. And stress is through the roof. Whoa. Today we're talking a little bit more about what we would have wanted to know before we know it now.
I'm a better example of this because I knew nothing.
No, but it's one of those ones, because when I was training to begin with, it was the bro split. It was then training 3 days in 1 week, 1 day in the next week, not training for a few months, coming back to it. That's sort of when I originally started training.
Oh, that's what you did. I thought that was in like deliberately.
No, that was not
okay.
deliberately, because there was no sort of plan, there was no sort of through line with my training, and my nutrition, to be perfectly honest, was cack. Like, it was simple foods throughout the week. Beans and toast with cheese and sausages or bacon, absolutely amazing. I'm gonna have that in August.
Student food.
But student food, but at the same time, I did eat good student food. There was a lot of pastas, things like that, and we both went to acting school, so with that, you were active throughout the day. And then coming to train in the evening, things like that, it just wasn't, the impetus wasn't there. But then if I knew now that how good it made me feel, oh, I would have been there. But there's so many different things, but we'll start with you.
Okay.
Well, actually, first of all, we'll start with Doc, quickly. Doc has one thing he wish he knew before he met me. That wrestling in my younger years would be such a big thing. He learned, when I seen a choke slam, he learned how to, well, take a choke slam. So as you can see, he's throwing his arm over to help him strengthen himself up, and then he goes, kaboom. But that's enough from Doc. No chance.
Oh, Doc. Is this specifically in relation to bodybuilding?
I would say health, fitness, diet, training, all of that. Go, I'll time you.
We don't have long enough. I think the biggest thing, I think the biggest of all the big things.
I would say with you, it's probably diet.
That's what I was trying to think. The fact that I needed to eat and what different foods did. And then with that, as it went on, it was learning what my body did well with and what it didn't. So like, as much as bread is a carbohydrate, well, rice is also a carbohydrate. My body prefers rice than it does bread. Like, that's an extreme example, because, yeah, but what everything did, and the fact, it's funny, I had a conversation with one of my co-workers the other day. We were talking about peanut butter, and peanut butter is life. And she was like, oh, I never used to eat peanut butter. And I was like, okay. And she said, yeah, I used to be scared of everything that was fats. And I just went, I'm not getting started.
But that's a cultural thing as well. Fats are demonized, whereas in fact, to go simply, you don't need carbohydrates.
But they're great.
But you don't need them. Like, you need your protein, you need fats. That's what you need. You don't need carbohydrates. They're nice.
Then it also really depends on why you're having them, I think. Like, if you're trying to get lean, yeah, you don't need them. If you're a regular human being, yes, you still don't need them, but it is what it is. If your entire diet is bread and chips and like 2 rashers of bacon and an egg,
yeah,
like, it's unideal. Like, if I have what I call a beige day, I'm like, it's all just very beige because all the food is beige. But then still my beige is still like chicken, or I think one time recently I had like chicken, chickpeas and rice, and I was like, it's so beige. Really balanced, but beige. Beans
aren't beige.
The bean itself is beige.
Ah, yeah. I love beans. And French toast was probably my favourite thing in the whole wide world. Beige. Except for you and Belle. Like, you would have said you did all the juicing diets, things like that. The 700 calories a day, all those sort of things, which they're thrown out, especially when we were coming through university. there was the information out there, but it wasn't as readily available. So you would have had different websites, different magazines promoting this, promoting that, promoting that. I didn't read, which was my issue.
And then add to that being in the theatre space and wanting to work in the performance industry and being a girl in the performance industry who was overweight on paper and to look at. Like, some of that was hormones. Hormones have a lot to answer for. That's probably another thing I wish I'd known. They have a lot to answer for. So add all of that in. There you go. Third thing I've learned. There is no quick fix. There is no quick solution. If you want change and you want a fitness journey, that's why it's called a journey. If I'm going to the shop, that's not a journey. That's 5 minutes walk up the road. That's a dander to the shop. That's a trip out. A journey is getting on a plane and going to Romania and coming back and finding where on earth we're going when we get there and using public transport and working it out and being a team and going, okay, well, you've not got data on your phone. I do. For some reason, mine's not connecting. That's a journey. That quick fixes were marketed, and they still are.
That's
marketed well.
They all are. It's like fat loss pills, things like that are marketed. We're going to touch on more of these sort of things probably after the show because cognitive function is limited for me at the moment. It does work. My brain does work.
It does.
Most of mine's the same. It's the nutrition is a big one. Training, following a plan. And then the other one is sort of, they're all the exact same actually, come to think of it. It's everything takes a little bit longer than you realise because when I first started the gym, I was looking around and comparing myself to others being like, why don't I look like that? But then I also realised part of the reason why that was, and that was the magical juice a lot of people take. And it was only really 2017, 2018 that I cottoned onto that. So generally speaking, that's not that long ago because only really 2018, 2019 was when I had really started to take training seriously. Which most people think I've been doing it for a long time. No, really. The last 5 years, which isn't that long. That's really it. Nice and simple.
So that was easy.
Yeah, that was easy. I don't have that third party. I can sort of go, here, I'm struggling a wee bit. Give me a wee kick up the arse, anything like that. I kind of have to look at myself in the mirror and go, Stephen, I need help. And the mirror just looks back at me and goes, and what? What am I supposed to do? We're in this together. I never train like a bodybuilder. I never train like a powerlifter. I just like lifting weights.
Just picks up heavy things.
No, but that's exactly it. It was like I was on the Rogers hip press there earlier and I was like, you know what? I gotta go for 300. I'm 3 weeks out from a show. And I was like, go for 300. I got 3.5-ish reps.
Oh yeah.
And
luckily I had a nosebleed, so we didn't do any hack squats.
I also pulled out the hack squats because I did them on Thursday and I was like, nah. But I'll probably do them again on Thursday. The next couple of weeks, don't overreach. You know what you can do.
You heard it here first.
And just do it. Because I've got niggles. And I have to sort them as well. But you know what? It's all part of the fun. And in 3 weeks' time and maybe a day, you'll see me ripped to the calves and abs. Not the other thing. But that's us for today. That's 3 weeks out. And that was Stephen on a ramble and Natalie giving actual insights.
And then listening.
And Doc.